3 minutes. If you're already tuned in, what I'm going to do different today is I'm going to change the camera position, but I'll aim the camera at the screen, and you can take a screenshot on your laptop or on your phone if you need the reference image before we begin. For now, I think I should tie up my shoes. Thirty seconds. Righty-ho. Take a screenshot if you haven't yet. I am going to start today. Whoa! What's going on with this TV? Oh, okay. I'm going to start off with graphite today and do some structural stuff. I really love how Ryan's leaning. There's this overall gesture here and so many cool shadow shapes. Lots of small details. So I want to start out with graphite and not use something as blunt as charcoal, because the charcoal is not going to allow me to get into some of these details the way that I want to. And then later, because the graphite's going to sit on there and not roll around this smooth paper, I'll probably get back into that pan pastel and see what happens. So I'm just going to change things up a little bit here visually. Get yourself ready. And then we'll start the timer. I'm going to do the Pontomoro timing again. Let's raise this camera up. I might have to do some adjustments here as we go. I'll be watching the screen. As you saw, the image is away from me rather than on some sort of photocopy. Let's just see here. It's not bad. Okay. 25 minutes on the timer. Tomorrow timing. We're using the Science to be the most effective. And I'm going to use this tanned Strathmore paper again. This is like the 4th or 5th drawing I've done on it, so it's going to take me at least a pad to get used to it, probably. I hope everyone had a good May long weekend. I didn't even know it was a long weekend until it was happening. And today, it's nice and rainy. Some of my favorite weather. I'm a BC boy, and it feels like just the time to garden. And it's also been 5.5 months or so, and so I am on another cleanse. I will be taking every break to pee today. This is my second day, and tomorrow and the day after are the hard days. So I just got to get through tonight. I'll be using this Mars Statler. These are the ones where you can refill and put in the leads at first. And I'm looking for long lines. So I imagine in my head the center line, and I imagine it from that chair leg straight up. He's leaned far over, so I want to get that gesture first. Oh, this isn't even the right lead. Okay, we'll go to mechanical pencil, I guess, just so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to take a couple measurements before I jump in too deep. 5 heads tall. Five heads tall, 3 and a bit sideways. So I'm going to establish his head right away here. It's a little bit bigger than an egg, I would say, on my paper. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there'll be some space around this page. I might make it a little bit bigger before I get in here. Okay. I found my favorite eraser, and that's where these pencils were. So I thought, well, I'll just use this kit today. So after I draw the cranial mass, I need to establish the side, the cutoff, the side of the plane. That's where the ear is going to live. And if I put in the brow, and it's curved because he's looking up a little bit, but also the head is a sphere. So you could start with a straight line. But there are 5 units to get to the chin, which I've already measured out here. If you've taken a portrait class or you look at your references, you should know this by now, but maybe it's new for you. Okay, so that's just going to establish that I have a measure throughout this piece now. I will draw with something a little bit darker. Okay, I didn't want to have to do it, but the Conte to start. So I want to look for the big shapes, the big major shapes, the torso coming down. There's this overall like bow shape to where his foot comes down. So I'm going to put it about here. So that's just by feel. I'm not measuring it yet. The eraser is pretty dirty. I just showed up to the studio. We had our C-Space AGM today, and I decided to hang out at home. Halfway from the brow to the chin is the nose, and I'm using that measure because I can take the head to nose, nose to neck pit. He's actually a little bit lower, just because his head is arched up. Okay. We had our AGM, and because I'm on this cleanse, I'm kind of taking it easy right now. Looking for negative shapes, shape inside the arm or the cross. Just blocking in. Just block it in. You don't have to be entirely accurate early in your drawing at all. Take some measures. The length of the head equals to the shoulder in this case. So that gives me, shows me that I need to move over the body a little bit here. There we go. Okay. Directly below the head and this hand, the leg falls. As I said, through the center, that's where that chair is going. This arm crossing, I love these when the body's crossed over. It makes it more complicated and you get these really interesting shadow shapes. It's harder to draw. You need to take a little more time. But before that happens, you need to just make your simple block in. So we don't want to get too lost in details just yet. Okay, 5. Good. I'm drawing the diagonal line from the knee to where the foot is, just to give me that there's that slope. You can imagine the negative space, that triangle in there. This arm is going to be much thinner, is what that tells me. Thinner, but further out. He's really leaning, and I don't want to lose that gesture. Three heads down is the top of the groin, and it's in alignment with the shoulder. So it looks like I'm pretty good right now. I guessed that that's where the seat was, and I'm willing to bet in the second session when I measure up more that I'm probably right on. I'm taking a measure from the elbow down of the head. The head, so I'm triangulating from where I think the elbow is to the head would be the side of the leg. It's just showing me that I need to move things over a little bit. I get a little scared sometimes when I'm getting close to the edge because I want this thing to fit. Something that drives me crazy is when artists mistakenly and their drawing, I guess, if like something goes off the page but for no reason. Like a foot gets cut off, and it's only because it just shows me bad planning. It's our responsibility to get this thing to work. It's analog, and it's rife with difficulties and problems, but there's no one else to blame but yourself. And you can be a grown-up artist and take responsibility for it. And so, erase, start again. Sometimes I have to do it in the next session. I don't get it on the first try, is what I'm saying. So I'm using some curving lines now to feel my way around. And I'm holding this up to the model, and I see that it travels down to the shoulder. It's really close here. What is the correct measure? Okay. Let's go back right to it. Checking and measuring as I go. Chin, over, correct. I measured from the chin to the teres major minor where the lat is coming up, that muscle. And then I'm going one more over to see if my leg lines up. Should line up right to there. So let's see, one head length over, one head length over. Yeah, pretty good. It's looking short and stubby to me, but we'll see how this comes together as it gets built up. So the arm shoots past the knee, and there's an angle here that I can use to locate the hand. I just draw it as a box at first. Might be a little bit big, but it'll trim down. It's like carving wood. You gotta first get the big piece of wood down to a little piece of wood. This elbow would be about there. Need a little more tilt in this hand. Over the knee. This angle. I'm thinking that I might be pretty good at building a house. My last name got changed when my family came to Canada to my grandmother's last name. My grandfather, my last name would have been Serembana, which means to cut crooked. And it sounds like, based off the stories my grandfather told me, that I am, my ancestors were a bunch of drunk carpenters for 5 generations. Of course, I don't know if this is completely true. He was a carpenter though. So maybe my house would be really crooked and shoddy. But that could be cool too. Some back reflected light on this trap up here, and then pointing out is the scapula. You can see a little bit of it. I feel like I made his body too wide here. And one thing I've learned over the years is trust your gut. Go if you're feeling it. It's really, humans are really good at that kind of thing. And we doubt ourselves. That's the mind and the ego talking to you. But don't doubt yourself. Feel it. Go around in circles if you have to. Get sketchy. I'm sure you're more often right than not. And the further you develop it, it's almost like what I'm developing is shutting off my brain, which is not that easy to do. Through practicing and learning in classes here, what I'm trying to do is fill my brain with other voices, really, so that I can stop judging myself and just go with it. Because I think our goal with the creative act is to be free. At first, it seems very constraining to have all these rules and learn all this anatomy. But eventually, that's what sets you free. And so when you don't know something, that's the time you can fill it with knowledge. And then knowledge, it eventually becomes intuitive, right? That's where we say mastery. I'll drop this on a little bit lower. Okay, so already, not even 10 minutes left, but I've got a good structure. I'm just going to take some measurements, check myself before I wreck myself. This distance is equal to this distance. The arm was looking a little long there. And it's probably just that the leg was getting a little thick. And in previous recordings, you'll hear me say that I often do that. I don't know why that is yet. Maybe I like kinkles. Got some weird fetish or something. Okay. So nothing's set in stone for this first bit at all. It's going to change. It's a process. So we've got to be friendly with our eraser. The other thing is we draw in grooves. We get ourselves into a bad habit, and then we stay in there. So that happened up here for me. Kept drawing the same shapes, like digging a ditch. That's what I refer to it as in the class. Don't dig yourselves a ditch. It's hard to get out of it. And what you do is you just keep, like a trough or something, you just keep going over the same place over and over again with no improvement. So directly across from this fold, horizontally, I see the turning of the leg, and right there is where the trochanter is. And so, in this case, there's a dimple in there. And that gives me a good location. It's one of my landmarks. So I'm going to use it. And it's the landmarks that I'm measuring from, and I'm only measuring horizontal or vertical. Earlier, because he was leaning, I was taking some triangulations, which is much more difficult to get correct. The leg was out, and I triangulated this hand, and because the leg was out, the hand was out too. So, you know, I did it, and it didn't work. Fortunately, we have erasers to help us out. I used to think erasing was bad. When I was in art school, I had this friend, Colin Kennedy, and we had read about this Zen master, mastering drawing a perfect circle. And so we made a pact with each other, and you can see this in my sketchbooks, to only draw in pen, because it would expose all your mistakes. And I still felt that way after I graduated art school. I mean, my sketchbooks are rife with mistakes and no corrections. You know, it's hard to correct pen. And it taught me a lot, for sure, but it also makes the sketchbook not look great. But the other thing was, I got into animation after that. And you need to trace and you need to erase in animation. And it took me a long time to break myself out of that habit of thinking that erasing meant that I was making a mistake. Now I love my erasers. They're the thing that I miss most. When I'm traveling, I just bring one. It's hard when you're at art museums and stuff to use your full kit, or when you're, you know, you can't bring a knife on the plane, so you can't sharpen the Atelier way unless you buy it as soon as you get off the plane. So I tend to use these pencils and a lot of graphite in my travel sketches. And then watercolor, it's very portable. Or gouache. Before I went to Guanajuato with Mark Vazia's group, and if we ever get out of this, I highly recommend doing that trip with those guys. It's a sketchbook group. Really cool things to see and do, and of course, my favorite food's Mexican food, so I really probably mostly went to eat, because I don't speak a word of Spanish. No habla español, I guess I do. But he does this trip where you go out of the town, you see the sights, and there's in San Miguel, so much cool art stuff, and that's where Mark got his master's degree. And so you get to see and know some of his experiences from that. I decided that I didn't want to go the master's degree route. I wanted to go the atelier route because the skill set is different. I like writing, but I didn't want to spend all that money and all that time to get what I would consider a fairly useless degree. I've never been asked for my degrees. In fact, I started my own place. I don't need a degree then, right? I'm more of an entrepreneur. But the real thing about being a good artist is just practice. You do not need to go to art school. Art school is a very expensive vacation for some. I made great friends there. But I also just made great friends traveling and going to different ateliers and studying there too. So it just depends what you're after. You don't need to spend 4 years. You just need to spend your whole life working on your craft. I'm really excited because I'm starting a new body of work right now. Building panels. I'm filming it. It seems like I've been pretty quiet on social media. It's because things don't look so good in the state they're in right now. And my God, I don't know what is going on. It was like meeting central lately. All the boards I'm on, all the things that I'm involved with. We had the C-Space tenant meeting. We had the C-Space AGM. It's been crazy lately. I want to get back to the way things were, but seems like this building is not going to be open for a while yet. So I got to just make my best use out of this, make these videos for you when I have the spare time. I always draw Wednesday night. That's a habit I won't give up. However, I have many other things I got to do in my life right now. That being said, I don't know if you guys follow my Instagram, but I got my taxes done. And it feels like a tremendous weight off my shoulders. And to my surprise, I got money back. I haven't got it yet, but that was amazing. I love my accountant. She's always telling me how to improve things, and she specializes with artists, although she's retiring this year, which is very sad. I've worked with her for 11 or 12 years now. But she told me she's going to retire. She used to work for CRA, and so she knows all the things to look for, you know? Get you some money back. So I got about a minute left. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to drink my cleansed drink. This is cayenne pepper, a little bit of lemon juice, and some maple syrup. It's really quite boring. And I'll be drinking it for at least 10 more days. It kind of looks like the same color coming out as it goes in. I drink like 4 to 6, maybe even 8 liters some days. It depends what the day is, but end up feeling great at the end. So let's take a break. Oh, 20 more seconds. Fantastic. Just a 5-minute break. I might adjust the picture. Hey, I see some people on here. Hey! Okay. Thanks for putting words on this YouTube. I totally forgot you could comment. Heidi, calling you out. Let's go. Break. Bunny needs to pee constantly. Turn up your music at home. Oh, it's too wide. Too wide. Proper. There we go. I do love these Stadler pencils. If you are listening, you can buy them in all different darknesses. I've got 4B, HB, 2B, H. They come in these tubes too. And then you get this little end cap so that you could put it on the end of your pencil and know what you're dealing with. So I'm going to use 2B, I think. That's just B. 4H. These are great when you're doing, when you're first learning classical drawing and you want 2H. Oh, okay. I guess I don't have anything darker than 2B right now. Sorry, back to what I was saying about the classical drawing. And you want to, oh, they came sharp. This is a brand new box. Always keeping art supplies on hand like a crazy man. There's that little piece at the top there, if you want to see the color. I don't do it. I just touch the paper and figure out what I'm dealing with. But the other thing is, a lot of people don't know this, but the top has a pencil sharpener in it. Oh, there's a lead in there already. HB in there. They're printed on the side. So you can take the top off, and there's a little hole in there, and you can sharpen it. This guy's already sharp. But you can see that that purple guy fits into the top. And then I gotta remember their colors. Forget about it. So, you know, I don't want to lose this top, so I'll just slap it back in there for now. While on the break, I decided Ryan's shoulders are way too wide. And I might change the placement a little bit. I've kind of committed to where I put this head, which was a mistake. I should have put it up a little bit higher. I'm going to set the timer for what? I'll work with it, you know? It can't be perfect. Trying to seek perfection will drive you bonkers. Hey, Keith, Jeff, Heidi, Dave, you're out there too. Maybe Robin. I can't see everyone, but thank you for joining me. 25 minutes, typical lay-in scenario here. I'm getting away from the Conte. I don't want it that dark. I honestly don't know what I'm doing. It's been a weird week. So I'm gonna start with the head and move down so that I have something more solid to judge with. And with this graphite, you can treat it like the Atelier sharpen. I don't know if that will focus. So holding it the same way. And then we'll go for some shadow shapes. I'm going to build some structures today and some planes because I haven't been able to catch up on my Fridays. Just too many things are getting in the way. They are going to have to wait. But I got my taxes done, so there's reason to celebrate. This time of year, it always reminds me, you know, we have these rainfalls sometimes in Calgary, and they're always around the May long weekend, which is, my mom's big into horticulture, and this is the weekend that they plant. And if you're planting outdoors, it's honestly perfect because nature is watering your plants, right? If only we knew what the weather was really going to do. So I feel the same way. Things are gestating. It's that time of year to think about what do you want for the summer. We're a little more limited in our choices this year. I definitely want to get some hikes in and a lot of biking. I think a lot of artists that I've been talking to are going to be hitting the plein air here pretty soon. Of course, not when it's wet, unless you're Elena. She probably was out there today, I bet. Ryan has this, like, his chin almost, his jawline almost divots inward, curves in. I did make his head a little long, but I'm going to commit to it and see what I can do with that. Just widen it out here a little bit. Going to, because I'm working just on this head area, adjust the camera up. Might help to see a little more closely. Whoop. Okay, focus camera. Okay. It's at an angle, but you get the idea. I'm drawing like the sunglass shape of the eyes. He's mostly in shadow here. This whole side's in shadow. The ears are a little bit lower than the nose. Just make sure that whatever angle do a drawing like this, but the same angle remains. The ears don't go up and down on the head. They're symmetrical, pretty much. Same for the mouth. So from the tip of the nose to the chin, halfway, bottom of the lip. I use that one more than the thirds. I like halves. They're a lot easier to figure out. I can go from the brow through his nostril, figure out the side of the mouth, and the side of the mouth is tilted down here. So just giving me some indications of locations, where I am in this drawing. But I don't need to put the whole face in right now. Just looking for the shadow shapes. I'll use something a little more effective for the shading of this. Okay. So, basic blocked in head. Basically, it's going to have a little more hair on top. That'll give me that height I'm after too. I want to talk a little bit about the series of work I'm starting. I've been waiting to do this for 7 years. I've always wanted to do the major arcana of the tarot. So I've been collecting tarot cards, and I'm not doing it for fortune telling. Let me be clear. I'm far too scientific to believe that. Oh, this from the brow to the chin is where the neck bit is, so it's living a little bit lower than I have it. And that is, you know, the sternocleidomastoid. That's what I'm really looking for. And where does it fall? Straight down from the chin. So, I've been watching these YouTube videos, and it's just been coming up a lot for fortune telling, right? That's not my angle here. Just like Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung, there's this idea that's the hero's journey. And I think that it's a pictorial reference that is explaining different stages of the hero's journey. And of course, if someone wants to shuffle a bunch of cards and charge someone $50 to tell them what's going to happen in the future, sure, I'm okay with that. But I've been watching these videos. Anyhow, that's not really the real point here. Been watching these videos and learning a lot. What I'm interested in is the symbology of each one. Also, I'm a figurative artist, and I love drawing single figures in backgrounds. I mean, that's got everything I like. And also, the esoteric knowledge. So I'm hoping that by doing these paintings over the next, I'm going to say 2 years, just to be fair, because of the quality I'm hoping to get from these paintings. A lot of tarot cards are illustrations, and they're nice and graphical, but they're like watercolor. They're quickly done. I mean, there's so many of them. I only want to do the major arcana, which are the power cards, so to speak. But they tell the story, from the Fool, that's when your journey starts, to getting some knowledge, you're a magician. It's a metaphor. Whoa, let me zoom back out. It's a metaphor for where things in your life might be going, but also a good place to start storytelling through art. I never know what to draw or paint, I want a subject. I'm too literal not to have a subject. So I'm hoping to learn through that. Oh man, these shoulders got wide on me. It looks nice, a little too superhero. And lately, that's actually what I've been working on, is superhero stuff. I gotta trim this shoulder in. Now that looks a lot better to me. The achromium process is this little nodule here. and then the traps come up. That's one of the landmarks we want to measure from. So I just brought the shoulder in a little bit. His arms are coming forward in the image, and I had them more falling back, like splayed out. Okay. And man, that's quite the tricep there. Bunny, nice job. That's the thing about curves, is they tend to be overly exaggerated. So I've got his pec. I'll move his neck bit over a little bit. I also love drawing a little bit stylistically. I like the elongated neck. I think it looks really good. I was a big fan of Botticelli until I went to Italy with Martino. And I'm standing there with him and I'm like, oh man, I love this Botticelli. Look at that, how good it is. And it's big. It's like the size of my chalkboards, maybe a little bit bigger. And it's behind glass, right? So it's already got that, wow, this is really important piece of art. And he's like, oh, you like that? I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, whatever, look behind you. And at the end of the hallway in the Uffizi is one of the first, done at the same time, 1540s or something like that. One of the first oil paintings, especially it's in that, it's Flemish, but it's in the gallery for that reason. You're going through the history. And it's a Van der Weyden altarpiece, and holy jeez, my, huh. The oil, the richness, that's how I'll always argue for oil paint. And I kind of thought after that Botticelli looks a little shitty, looks a little cartoony. But to see them in the same room really pointed that out to me. So with Botticelli, maybe a little bit more for me, it's the stylistic choice of how many, it's like 11 heads tall or something. He's really elongating those feminine features, which I think looks good, even on a man. At first, draw what you see, but then start to design things to convey more beauty. So yeah, I'm going to bring his shoulder back out a little bit. It's strange for anyone out there who's listening. It's really hard for me to keep talking while I'm drawing. I didn't think it was going to be this difficult all the time. I guess I have nothing to say, so I'm going to revert to some stories all the time, but I feel like if it starts becoming instructional, I really slow down and lose, talking more about what drawing is, lose the point of what I'm trying to do. Try it. Talk out loud the whole time. But keep it engaging, right? I look forward to being able to open back up so we can all be together again. Keith with his earbuds on. I always think that he's listening to self-help books that's like, you can do it! You can do it, Keith! Because he's so driven and has such a great work ethic. It's gotta be what he's listening to. And then that's where the biggest bone of contention is in the studio all the time too. Fighting over what sound it is. It's too personal. And I learned when I first started doing these streams that you're going to get YouTube getting pissed off at you if you have sound. I got a bunch of copyright strikes against me because I was listening to Spotify. And that's not what I wanted. All right, this line here represents the knuckles. I often draw a line across the knuckles to simplify the hand. And then I'm just looking for the light and dark. Now, this might piss off some of the artists, but I have not squinted once. I'm not working tonal value. I'm working structures today. So more angles. I can show it like boxes a little bit. Because I'm drawing more illustrative with graphite right now. When I am doing the coloring phase, or the shading phase, I think I'll be coloring this one. I'm not sure. I've got this kit somewhere. Oh yeah. I bought myself this a while back, and I haven't used it yet. The hand pastel color set. And yeah, I'm scared to use it, and I could wreck this drawing. But Keith gave me a little challenge, so I'm going to take it. I don't have any pencils like Pit Pastels or anything, so I'm stuck to a fairly blunt instrument tonight. But I'm hoping that it's a fun experiment. By using the graphite, I should be able to not lose as much of the drawing like I did last week. That was frustrating. But fun, don't get me wrong. Just drawing the belly shape a little bit and diagonal of the shadow. So I'm going to bring this back in more as well. He just looks a little too masculine, too wide, especially here. I'm going to bring it right down to there. A little too big for my liking. The nice thing about Ryan is, though he's lean and definitely masculine, he's got long feminine qualities to him as well. So you can see all the muscles and study them. But there's also curves within that. It's not all hard angles. There we go. He has a very elegant look, I think. And he also looks like a Roman centurion. I bought at Halloween a Roman costume for him. So if we ever do clothed costume, I've got almost the whole kit. Release him, Centurion! The Life of Brian. For my 21st birthday, I went to Boys Town, which is no longer a really nice gay club in Calgary. And they had a chandelier and carpet on the floor. In a bar, carpet. And one of the drag queens performed for my birthday the Life of Brian song. It was pretty awesome. My good friend Marty at the time was Mr. Gay Calgary that year. So he hooked it up for me. I loved going to that bar because it was classy and fairly empty, and you could literally just dance there and not be bothered. And a lot of the girls said that to me all the time, that no guys were like creeping on them. There weren't fights outside. I think it's called Night Owl or something now. Definitely a jock place. Oh, 5 minutes. I'm getting caught up here. There's some veins in the neck here. Oh, I would like to get those showing. So this graphite is a much more detailed tool, which is going to allow me to just get some finer areas. So the chromium process turns around. There's a little socket there. Okay. And this is shadow. I'm just going to look for an alignment. The shadow ends at his eye. So mine's a little bit wide. That's what I'm thinking to myself while I'm drawing. Oh, Greta. Thanks, Heidi. I don't go out, so I've heard of Greta Bar. That's not the one with all the video games, is it? I like the idea, Jeff and Keith. We could figure out. I bet we could do a multi-stream drawing. I'm using OBS, which is Open Broadcasting System, but I bet we could probably just do it on like Facebook or Zoom or something. And besides, I want to hear your okay, back to the art. I like that there's these comments. I think they're delayed by 20 seconds. Oh, I gotta get my head out of the way. Sorry. Okay, getting some structures here. I'm drawing, you know, my bedbug line, what's light, what's shadow. I'm not intending on shading it in. I'm just trying to find my shapes. I'm going to, yeah, I'll draw the growing area. What's the internet gonna do, right? Fuck it. Oh, so I'm gonna be blocked for that too. Let's go. It's a little high. Little high here. Let's go down. Okay. I really would like to do an écorché this year as well. Be nice to have the time to do it. I think it will take a while. I have already made the plasticine because I used to use it when I did stop motion animation for a living. Part of my living. I've done so many things to make money that's why having an art studio doesn't seem like a big deal. Oh, whatever. It's for hustlers. I got a couple commissions coming up. In fact, I got the CERB, which surprised me. And then I got offered a job. So I decided I'd take the job. So you can only make $1,000. But yeah, C-Space hired me back. And I'd much rather be useful than sit on my ass. I'm gonna leave this dark right now. Huh. Drop the leg a little bit more. Greta. I'm regretful I've never been there. The old man joking in some way. Oh, there's only a minute left. Okay. Soft, hard edges, carrying the form, all that art talk. Surprisingly, I don't have to key this break. But I should probably drink some. So there's 30 seconds left. I'm not in a rush. I will be later. I'm going to tilt this a little more straight to the camera. Maybe I'll just back it off. I don't hate it. This is good. A little bit more straight. I'll show you guys this room here. This is the setup. That's why I pay all this rent. The life of luxury. So let's take 5. So yeah, I've changed to this 25-minute thing, and I like it better, but I don't quite use the last minute. I'll get there. Oh, it looks like crap outside. Awesome. Going to take a snap for the Instagram. All right. 3 minutes. Cool. Let's see. Let's see. It's not the same size, but. Not bad. Back to your point earlier, Jeff, we should just do like a Zoom draw. We could just put the cameras over all of our, oh wait, Zoom is like front facing, isn't it? I like this idea. Drawing and talking, we could all be looking at the same subject. I know that you take lots of photos, and I know that Keith's been taking photos, and I can hear Heidi scratching away. Sounds like she's using ink, actually. But it would be awesome. We could do a Zoom chat, talk about art in the world. Okay. Hope this is a good setup now. Because we got 30 seconds. Okay. Okay. All right. Stoked. 7 seconds. And we're back. I'm gonna just finish out the bottom with the pencil. After this would be the long break, but I don't take them for these live streams. And I think I'm gonna try pastels and stuff after this. I'm pretty excited. They're like paint, but I feel like you really have to have something down already. Keith's turned out great, but I think he draws in graphite first. So I'm following his lead and learning from his experience so that I don't waste my time figuring out something new and looking like crap on this camera. But guys, I like this idea of this. I've been doing so many Zoom meetings and I hate them. I tried to teach, I had a bunch of students want me to teach classes on it, and it just did not work out for me. So I don't have a high opinion of it, but that could change. If we were all like, I just have the same setup, and we could have our cameras on, but we could hear and talk to each other and see what we're doing, I think that would be really cool. Got that superhero leg again. Once again, my leg's too wide. At least I know what I keep fucking up. Habits die hard. Okay. See that. So I'm gonna elongate the foot. I'm taking a measure off of his head, and from the brow to his chin is how much I have here for foot. So I'm gonna elongate it a little bit. As mentioned in a previous video, I don't worry so much about the structure of the foot. Often I'm leaving them in the drawings, but I do separate the shadow of the big toe and the small ones. It makes it look like tabby boots. If you're familiar with ninja shit from the 80s, those are those two-toe boots. That's how I like to do the foot at first. So I'll get to the shadows are in, other leg now. I don't know that I'm going to draw this stool. I might just leave straight lines here of where the stool's emanating from, like where the leg, they turn, but I think I might just draw them straight here for now. I don't want to take away too much from my drawing. And then where they terminate, front legs and back legs on the horizon. It's like drawing a trapezoid or something down where the base is. So that elongates this and drops this foot down a little bit, just to be sure. 1, 2, and a bit. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah, I have to do that. I'm not sure why that is. I think I just eyeballed it. That's probably why. And that actually helps me fix my problem with making my feet, or sorry, my legs too wide. They're just not long enough. There you go. That really helps elongate that leg at least. And drop the calf down. That's far too high. Malleolus. I'm going to put a little horizon in, although it's going to get obliterated probably. I might try that trick with the alcohol. Since I'm on a cleanse, I can't drink it. Might as well draw with it, right? Okay, drop shadow there. I'm gonna just draw and refine details up in the face now, so that it's not something I have to worry about later. Oh, what time is it? 7:08. Okay, forgot to set the timer. My bad. That's why I need you guys here. I don't remember these things unless there's pressure. If I was just drawing by myself, I wouldn't have to do that. I've actually been doing my online courses. I'm taking courses right now. If you have a library card, there's a lot of advantages. I'm taking a investment property, because I'm actually looking at them right now, course. And it's out of the States, and normally you'd have to pay like $600 or $700, but the Calgary Library, for some reason, lets you have these things for free, like 1 or 2 a year. So now, why not now, right? Now's a good time, especially. Just gonna measure. So, putting the eyes too high again. I thought so. Anyways, taking some courses. Rather than trying to make money right now and teach them, taking them. And the way things are looking, you know, who knows? I might actually be able to afford something here with this awesome economy we have going on. I would love to own a place right across from C-Space. That would be my ideal. This neighborhood is way too expensive. Artists don't live here. So, I'm just going to zoom in again. And just bring this closer to me, I think. Will that work? Whoa, funny, it's backwards. Okay, focus. So that'll be the tear duct. Length of the eye, equidistant. 1, 2, make sure you make your eyes like that. Who am I talking to? Just me now. The angle of my board right now is just shining, it's glaring me in the eye here. That's the thing I hate about graphite. It's just like how shiny it is. The erase is so nice, but at a cost. It's what I would consider a very slippery material. Not as bad as paint, of course. So I'm just going to work out the details of the head right now. Everything else I can kind of fake with the pastel. But if I don't get this right, and I might not, I think things will drift. If I travel the direction of the nose, which is like a cross, perpendicular to the lines that I've been going across with, then I can drop the tear duct down, and that will be the wing of the nostril. The nose is one eye wide. So if the tear ducts are one eye wide apart, it stands to reason that the nostrils, if traveling at the same angle, will be one eye wide apart. All right. That's all in shadow. A little too much detail going on here right now, but it's going to darken up. Okay. Hair comes in. Here. And then just copy the angle. So I have a feeling, like I was saying, that graphite's really slippery, that it might be hard to get some material to stick to some of this. If I have to, I got my Conte that I dropped on the floor and broke. It probably will stick on top. Charcoal will not usually stick to graphite. It slides over it a lot. This is charcoal that I prefer. I find it doesn't stick. Kind of round his chin out a little more too. And don't forget to give him eyelids. I keep assuming you guys are drawing the same thing as me. That can't be possible. Alright, darken that whole side. This little highlight. It's quite sharp. So I want to get it. Same as there's one coming down the side of the nose here. If I'm not careful, I'll flatten his nose out. I don't want that. I like to imagine that the lips are like stingrays floating in the water towards. So I look at them very abstractly. In my course, I teach them a little bit different than what I'm saying here, only because students need to learn the anatomy of them, like puffy clouds. But when it comes to shading them, make sure your mouth is traveling across perpendicular to everything else. A little bit of catch light reflecting in there. It's going to be nice when I start to get into the details. There's a lot of interesting things going on. That's why I think color might be a little nice here. You can play with the warm and cool. Hair right there too. Alright, enough with the head. Let's move on down. There's a lot going on in the neck. And I got to see, I shared it with Keith there, Studio in Caminati. They had a free class all on these muscles. And it really let me know that I don't know anything. This guy built an écorché, and he knows all the muscles that go under the neck. I only think of a tube and look for the sternocleidomastoid, really. I don't know the names of all this stuff in here. It's something that I have neglected in my studies. And then I saw that, and then I got a man crush on the teacher, Dan. And I've been writing lists down of, what I hope to accomplish in the year to come. And one of the things I thought was, wouldn't it be nice to go back to university and deal with some cadavers? So we'll see if things open up again, because I would really enjoy taking a medical anatomy course in all my spare time that I have. Why not? For now, reference. That's all I got. It's been working thus far, but I wouldn't mind going a little deeper. That was a pun. Graphite and pastel don't mix. Okay, thanks, Keith. Shit. That's what I thought was going to happen. Hey, gotta change what I'm doing. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try that alcohol thing too, I think. I have some, just for the background. $70. I don't have really strong stuff. Okay, zoom it back out. Oh! Okay, due to new information gleaned from Keith, I am going to start pasteling now and not mess around anymore with the graphite because they don't mix well, he says. And I think that that's what I thought, and his information, very helpful. I guess I'm going to start with the background and move down. Maybe that's the worst idea. I don't know. Let's see what we got in this pastel box. Okay. Hey. Burnt sienna, red iron oxide. Okay. I'm going to start like I would painting with raw umber. I'm going to go dark to light. God, I can't even open this box. Oh my lord. Look at all those beautiful pastels. I actually have more than what it says because they had a 50% off kit. Okay, that's that one probably. How do you tell? Doesn't say what they are really. Raw umber shade. Where are you, buddy? I can see now how that palette you have, Keith, is very useful. This stacking method is silly. I mean, it stores them small, but you can't see what you're dealing with. Oh man, okay. That must be Sienna. Turquoise, green. Okay, I think I see how this works. They have them stacked. Wait, so raw umber should be by gray and blue. That's this one. Permanent tint, no. Maybe that's burnt sienna. Ah, they say them on the bottom. Okay, permanent red tint. That's not red iron oxide shade. Blue, turquoise. Okay. It's going to take me a while to figure this out. I'm guessing that that's raw umber. Raw umber. Which means that this is raw umber shade. And that's the one I want. Okay. So I'm going to block in my shadows with this thing. You know what? There's this other... Oh, there's tons of tips. So I'm just going to do my darks. So now I'm going to squint. I really enjoyed this last time. Oh, feels like paint. So nice. I don't know why it's taking me so long to use these things. And you can use like little makeup brushes with them. You could probably just use paint brushes too. Alright, we're having fun now. Forgot what that was for a while there. Core shadow and casts will mainly be in my darkest dark. There is warmth in the rest of it. So I'm using this coolness as that Rubens rhythm. Warm, cool, that happens. You guys may have noticed that. These are actually fairly, you can press quite hard with these. When we do come back, I need to figure out what my perfect practice is again. I feel like I got to a point of drawing where now I need to be expressive again. Maybe it's just not teaching as well and summer coming upon us. I want to open up some more opportunities creatively for myself again, especially before I do that tarot series. I've cut all the wood. I'm still needing to, I bought lead white grounds, oil grounds. There's going to be a little bit of black, but I think I'll put it on top later as I tighten things up. And for sake of internet, we'll just not define the balls right now. What I also like about these pan pastels is that they are so soft, and I would say for most of my art practice, I'm going to drop the knee down. In art school and stuff, I never learned that. Soft and hard. I'm still battling with the soft. So this is a good tool to help with that, I think. You can't do much else. Do the soft and then do the hard. It's funny because really what I wish I was doing was painting. But this is feeling very similar to it. I guess I'm gonna have to like change the tip every time too. That will become black. Wow, it certainly covers quickly. Well, I might have to lighten this up here on this side. The inner leg is very white. It never sees the light of day. I mean, I don't know Brian's home life, but I'm willing to bet these legs stay inside most of the time. I'm just gonna lightly wipe it. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. It's always fun trying new things. Last year I tried spray paint for the first time. I mean, I'm in my 40s. I should have been doing that in my youth, but I didn't want to. I hate police. I was afraid of police. I don't hate them now. So I never did it because I was always worried about being caught. And honestly, after doing a mural like that, I feel like I lost my true calling. It was so quick and fun. I got the mural up, and it looks, whoa, great! Looks good, I think. So, just 5 minutes, guys, if you're following along. I want to keep going, but I'm going to, okay, put the thing down. Put the thing down. So fun. I'm going to stop just to keep to the time. I know that right now, if it was a break, Keith would still be going, but I'm going to take the break. I'm going to drink this liter of drink tonight. It'll make tomorrow easier. So I'll just back it off again, show the scene. My talking is letting you into my mind. The camera is letting you into the space. Fun times. While we're breaking, I'm going to figure out where the heck all these colors are. Current red tint. That'll be for the toes-ish. And it's not, oh. The prints. Yes. Use that purple for the cool side of his head. Colors! No. Here's the white. Black on top. Whoa! Holy cannoli! Look at that. Who the hell would I need that? That's that side light Keith always has, I think. Okay. Alright. What happened? And then I'll need these things, I think. There we go. Some little makeup brushes things. I'm gonna take it. Let's see what it says. Ah, thanks, Keith. I was wondering if I could clean up. Applicator. Okay. There's one for lights, one for darks. I like your style. That's the Virgo in me, liking the organization. These are cool. I could see it getting very expensive, needing more colors. And have you run out of these things? Like had to replace colors? Light and dark applicator. Well, I do have more bottom things. All right, we're back. 25 minutes. Punt tomorrow timing. And you can see that I've laid out some color here. I've got, this is insane. What the, like, I don't know, maybe ladies lipstick. I don't want to drop these things. Oh, there they are. I got more applicators. So I'm going to zoom back in and get going. This is fun. Like, I like it right now, but we'll see. In half an hour, I could hate it again. But it is kind of like painting. It's very soft. I don't know if the archivability, that's one of the things I don't like about pastel in general is having to spray it and then it changes color. Boo. So actually, let's see. Inside here is quite red. I might be able to get this red to work for me here. I want to try that really bright red somewhere. I think that would be cool. So, already I can tell this eye needs to move over. So I'll just go right over it. I think going over top later and drawing will help intensify anything that gets softened out. You know, maybe I'll use charcoal. I've got my generals here. So, my generals, my army of art. It's quite a nice material. That it's not in stick form too. Is interesting. Soft. I think that maybe next week I was going to do Cerebella. I have some photos of her that have lots of nice color. And I was thinking that I would not draw at all, and I would just behave as if I was painting, like no lines or anything, and just do like color blotches, kind of like this. This is giving me a chance to see what else these can do. I was pretty chicken last week to jump in. I was still relying on my regular drawing modality. But as things are developing here, I'm not as interested in creating an anatomically correct, perfect drawing because I want to draw more like Henry Yan. More, I know where things are, you know. I can work on that throughout the year, but just to be more expressive. The paintings I'm going to be making are going to be really anal, so gotta get my fun somewhere. Jeez. I wonder if Luella's tried these. I think she would really like these. Fuck that right there. Technical term. Okay. Man, you could really cheat your way through things with these, actually. When we do open back up, I think we should push the pan pastels a little bit. Keith had his class, but no one really like teaches pastel or anything. This is a lot like painting. And you know what? This could suck in 10 seconds, so don't quote me on it. I'm just trying to have something to talk about. I stopped watching conspiracy theories. I just had enough of it. Lots of people are sending me crazy, crazy shit. And wondering if I'll vaccinate my kids. And I don't have kids, so I don't think it's really even a valid question. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. All right, that color is done. I'm gonna flip this thing over. Wait, this must be darks. So I'm gonna actually, I'll use it for a few seconds more. I'm gonna warm up. I'm gonna use this one for the lights. The angly one. So that's the opposite that I do painting in. I use straight, bright, flat kind of brushes for my darks. And I use almost exclusively filberts and rounds for my lights. So not even all the sizes, but I actually just separate them that way. I find that that works really well for me. I'm gonna get this, oh, these are little makeup brushes here. I'm gonna use this burnt sienna, I think now. Red iron oxide, okay. Anywhere that there's reflected light from the body back into the body's darks, they tend to be quite warm. It's like the body's reflecting back into itself. It's heat or something. So, along this bicep. Now, it's hard at first to perceive these things, so just kind of use that as a rule. So this arm is reflecting back into the pec, so I'm going to warm it up. This clavicle is reflecting onto the arm. I'm going to warm it up. And then I'll just slightly blend these together. That should do it. That's got a lot of chroma in it. Under the neck and along the sternocleidomastoid. Whereas this one's going to stay cool. There's nothing reflecting into it. Even a little bit up in the face, we'll see often by the nose and cheeks. Warming up. A little bit of warmth here under the elbow into the leg. That might be a little more intense than I needed. I can put a little bit along the belly ridge because it's hanging over. and a little into the separation of the obliques. That's about it. All right. Fine then. A little bit. Use it for the around the nose shadow. Oh boy, it's not sticking. Okay. So, put a little in between the fingers here as well. I'm going to have to darken the shadow quite a bit. There's also, I'm noticing a little bit of reflected light from this arm bouncing up. So I'll do that by showing warmth rather than brightness of, it's not a light, it's a dark. Okay, so those are the darks. Now I'll use the lights. I'm going to leave some areas, maybe between the core. I'm just going to smudge, because I think the colors I have here are all brighter. Yeah, brighter than the page. So we'll just lighten it up. I want to leave some of the paper. Otherwise, what's the point of using that paper? Oh man, okay. So the paper is becoming the halftone. It's the dark part turning over and cooling off. It's cooling a little bit into my shadow shapes. Cool. Up here is a lot more pinkish in color. So I got that right here. A lot more pinkish. Oh, very pink. Okay. This is starting to look too modern. Colors are so vibrant. Maybe if I brush over it later with, let's tap a little bit more red in there. Oh, they blend quite nice. So I can like tap that red that I thought was crazy. Oh, okay, I got a little too much in there. And it actually blends quite nicely into the color. That really behaves like oil paint. But is it archival? I haven't seen too many good, when I was in San Diego, I saw a good pastel show, but I don't see too many good pastel artist shows. I just don't think it was, because it wasn't archival, it's not something that museums sought after. I mean, it's archival, so it's not, you know, you just rub up against it and the thing's gone. There's the knuckles. So I am going to add more red to this. So this red does, I hope I didn't put too much in. Oh, I did. Red does a good job of tinting these really pale skin colors. Okay. I'm just trying to rub out some of this red. It's too strong. I'm not affiliated with Pan Pastel in any way, shape, or form. So there's no reason for me to lie about liking it or not. So far, I like them. They've been sitting on my shelf, being part of the dust. I was going to make a comment because I know Jeff's on here. I'm loving the paintings that you're posting. Keith's last drawing was stellar. That one of Marla. Holy crap. But those paintings that Jeff's doing remind me of what I'm doing right now. It's like little blotchy, simplified colors. So that might be something you want to try because it's kind of the same feeling. It's really neat. I'd like to do a class just in those kind of paintings. Then people can learn like where the warm and cool and where to put color. Those backgrounds are so bright, so chromatic. I might do that with this guy. So I'm going to take some of the dark into the light here and see what happens. Okay, not my favorite. It's definitely a game changer for me, guys. Lower leg tends to cool off a little bit, so I'm just going to steal a little bit of this violet color and get it on there. And then deal with the same, because it's so pinky. It's pinky yellow, this color. Just cool off this leg a little bit. Wow, there's going to be a few more sessions here, and I feel like compared to drawing, this is making a lot of, I'm getting a lot of coverage out of this, a lot of headway. I suppose I could go over it with Kid Pastel later if I had them and intensify. It's looking like a blurry painting. I'm okay with that. If that's all I get out of today, I would be fine. Hopefully by the end of this time, I don't completely wreck it either. I've been known to do that. A lot. That's what that book, The Artist's Way, should have been about. Don't mix your light and dark. Never a good thing. Let's pile some dark back on. And really, those fingers should have been dark. So, the belly is a little pinker than what I have. So, this should... I actually never thought in a long close session that I would do color. So here I'll be putting white. We'll go pink down here and then I'll cool it off again with that, that violet probably. Things warm up. More yellow across the toes. You know, I could actually almost put green here. I saw that there was green. Oh, I had green. There we go. So I'm going to use the dark tool though for the green. So bringing up this edge, this side, before it goes to a reflected light, I'm going to just cool it with some green. We might even see a little of that splashing in the face. So he looks like a zombie now. Don't worry, I'll be able to deal with that. Because it's almost like it's actually the color of the paper, this reflected light. So I can use my fingers. I'm adding warmth to the knee as well. He said wipe it off on your clothes, but today I'm wearing nice clothes, so Kleenex. Wait, this is the light one. I'm gonna add in something close to white. James gray, neutral gray. I feel like it would be really useful to paint the sides. Maybe this is titanium white. Got 5 minutes left. I want to put some more lights on. This is raw umber tint. What the? It's not possible, is it? Yeah. Okay. Raw umber tint it is. It's an off-white. Cool. Which is working. I got cool, warm, cool, warm. This whole arm in this nice light. It actually looks quite gray. So I'll put some lighter lights on top of that too. Put a little in the hair. Highlights. Side of the nose. Now it's getting hard to use because these areas are so small. The shine, side of the clavicle. There's a shine along the manubrium here. Okay, 3-4 minutes. Rather than delve too much deeper into this form, I need to sit back and look at what I'm doing. I will put in a background. There is this really nice blue. Yeah, let's start with that. Oh God, so bright. It's very colorful right now. Yes, yeah. Sorry, I'm reading the thing. You should do those studies. I'd take your class. I'll take your class. I'm trying to have more time to make art, so you guys teach more classes means I can take more because I won't be teaching if you're teaching. So I'm going to just rub in a couple of lost edges here too, bringing the background color into the shadow color. I suspect I'm going to have to draw over top of all of this to really enhance it. wonder if Heidi's still out there, what she's saying. She's drawing along or not. Calling her out. All right, this key, it's going to be a little more expressive. I don't know what's going to happen with this background. I might spray fix this, I don't know. This particular drawing session has almost turned, I feel like I'm talking to a psychotherapist. About the decisions that are being made. I do get lots of comments after. It's nice that you guys are drawing, typing in the comment thing up there while I'm here, because then I can react a little bit. This blue is beautiful. This blue and this red are like super nice colors. I feel slightly like when I look in the screen, I feel like it looks like 1950s advertisement. You know, they had that illustrative style. Kind of Norman Rockwell-y. I'm not going to go that far. Not this particular piece. I just mean the style, the Mad Men era. So it's a good thing I drew first for this part. Make that a little fatter. Put some red in there. That's fun. So if you're still with me, 10 seconds, and we're going to take a little break. That should give us 2 more sessions, exactly. And at the end, I'll stay a little bit longer maybe and critique against the screen. Take 5 if you got it. Yes, Jeff, let's do conference next week. Just can't be on Wednesday. I have to do this every Wednesday. Fuck, I forgot to set the timer again. Okay, wait 2 minutes. Let's do 1. Let's change time. We can. We have the power. I wouldn't mind a little bit more time at the end. I think now I want those pit pastels like Keith has. Because then I could draw over top of this and harden up some of these lines. I'm surprised you don't have like a little like eraser type tool that you can just draw with. Maybe I have something. This is just an excuse to buy more art supplies though, which is my addiction. And I will be getting the tax thing back, but I need to be careful. The rent here is not cheap, and I don't want to be in arrears. Oh yeah, I'll draw over this later. So all I have is white. Maybe a black for the pit pastel. God, maybe I shouldn't have ever used these things. Now I'm in trouble. I have to buy more supplies. Okay. I got a couple pit pastels. Or Lyra, what's that? You know, I bet a stump would work for drawing with the pastel nicely. Anyhow, it's all new things. So, I'm going to finish off this blue. Shit. Got all over my computer. It's messy. I'll give it that. And then I'm going to go back in for drawing some more. Just to punch it up and pick out some things. 5. Oh, other way. Okay. Still, that wasn't what I was using. Oopsies. There's powder everywhere. You know what would be funny is if after doing this, he sends me a text and he's like, so now that you're into the pit pastel, it's like a multi-level marketing scam. He's been slowly waiting for people to come over to his side. It'll be like, Avon. I'll be on his downline. He'll be like, yeah, you start teaching us at school, and all you got to do is get 5 people down your downline, and eventually you'll never have to work again. I have fallen for those things a number of times, though. I had a friend who I thought was sincere and awesome, and he got me into buying this mushroom coffee. This was like 10 years ago. And it was a multi-level marketing company before I knew better. And I got in, and then I bought all this coffee. I didn't even drink coffee. But then you're supposed to sell it, and then you're supposed to get more people on the downline so that when they buy coffee, you make money. It's a fucking pyramid scheme is what that is. Anyhow, we're not friends anymore. But pit pastel's different. Or these, what are these? Pan pastel, sorry. Pan pastel's different. Man, maybe we should start our own pan pastel downline here. These are awesome. It's just, I love color. Most artists, especially in the city, that's what it is. We love color. People, especially when you look at contemporary art, it's like they're not learning about anatomy or skill, but they still like color too. And the worst, you know, those acrylic pourers, they love color. It's not art, but they love color. This definitely is teaching me something, and I appreciate that. I remember when I first started working in charcoal, I was this loose. I don't know what happened to me. It's a Virgo quality, trying to be right. So drawing more illustrative. Everything has its purpose, right? I like how you can do this like quickly broken up background like this. The charcoal last week just made a huge mess. Same paper, less effective. Charcoal really didn't want to stick to this paper. I'm used to a much more toothy paper for charcoal, so that I can really rub it in. It's almost like I'm staining it. My charcoal drawings that were more like the classical style that I used to do, I pushed that charcoal into that paper until you could wipe your hand across the paper and no charcoal would come off on your hand. It was impregnated. All right. I lost my stool here. I think that's okay. It's just levitating. Okay, put this blue away. Get a little bit more of this burnt sienna to warm up the groin area that I kind of dissolved away. So I like where most of this color is. I think what I'll do is go back and draw a little bit again. With first, I'll start with the white because I have it here. Maybe this is a better way to end it off. I'll go back to charcoal. I'll get the darks back in. Dark to light, just like in painting. Pentel. Nero. Nero is oily, but it should stick. And I'm going to use this hand pastel box against my better judgment as a bridge. This is feeling quite greasy on here. So I'm just darkening shadow areas where I can. Using crosshatch a little bit. I hope no one mistakes this for Keith Springall here. This is not my usual way of drawing. Color should be quite the effect. I'm going to try charcoal on top now. This might not be dark enough either. Oh, that's nice. Okay, what's happening? So I'm just going to strengthen some areas, harden some edges, and darken some areas, just to help show separation. Like here needs to be a hard edge. So even though it might not be this dark, it's okay to draw that in. If I had more colors, I'd be able to alter the color as I go as well. If I had some of those go to the art store and spend your government check, which I do now, Might have to get a whole set of those. So what I'm talking about is the pit pastels. So they're the pencil pastels. They're like pencils. Okay. This is a cast shadow. A little too high up, actually, of the hand. Just darken that back in. And then get the light and fix up beside it. Fix as I go. You can really get in there tight too, which is nice. So I'm just adding, there's some finger shadows here too. I'm putting it in my mouth. But here, no hard edge, because it's turning over the form. Here it's soft. And this tool is perfect for that. Pull towards the light. It's going to go a little darker on the edge. A little darker. Okay. Probably should be drawing there. I am going to draw on the core shadow with this charcoal. So I cooled it off. It seems like it needs to stand up a little bit darker. I don't know if you guys can hear this on there, but it has that lovely sound. Get a little more dark in there. It does get slightly lighter right here. That could even be done with the white. Hard edge here. Cast shadow. The cast shadow highlights the object it's falling on more than the object that's casting it. It allows you, because if you have the form shadow already in there, it allows you to really intensify. I'm going to put some red in there in this one. So the other thing too, now that I realize this, is that you can really mess up your colors. If I put red in there, I'm getting it dirty. My pastels are getting dirty already. Boo. Caution. "12 more minutes in this session." Whenever you're doing something new, it takes a while to kind of acclimatize to it. Of course, I'm worried about sucking for you guys. So it has taken me a little while. Oh, that graphite's hurting me now. That graphite underneath is pain in the ass. You know, I'm broadcasting here. I don't want to suck, but I was timid about trying this pan pastel for so long, and also even going back to painting, because I felt like I needed to work my drawing a lot more. I still do, but it's like after how many semesters? You know, this idea of the perfect practice? Things have to give sometimes. I definitely want to get back into painting again. I didn't have too many painting classes this semester, this last one, so my practice has fallen by the wayside a little bit. This is definitely more graphical. I'll maybe have to add some more color on top, I don't know. It's helping me see things where they are, at least. These folds can be picked up here too, which is cool. So this is an HB charcoal. It's a very, very hard charcoal. I'm pressing quite hard on the surface as well. The way I'm drawing now makes me wish I had 5 hours to finish this. But I gotta edit a video tonight for the kids. I'm doing instructional videos for Willow Park School. Hopefully help them out, raise some morale. Teaching what I taught at Mount Royal and AU Arts, which is the history of graphic novels and the language of graphic novels. I was the artistic director on an 80-page graphic novel for 5 to 7 years. I started out doing their animation, and then I ended up being the artistic director after showing, you know, that I could handle more stress, I guess. And what we did was we made comic books for First Nation youth in the traditional language of Blackfoot. And that was a cool project, and one of the people that I work with, I trained to now run it. Can't do everything, Bunny. So now my brilliant student surpassed the master. That's Jesse Gaucher. Very proud of what he's accomplished. He's also a good artist. He was a street artist when I met him, a graffiti guy. He even has like a clothing company. Maskawa, I believe is the name of the clothing company. I wonder if he watches these. Probably not. It's a different field. Okay. Gotta be a little careful with this stuff. A little more red in there. A little more blue. My achromium process is a little too big. Needs to drop down here. All right, that punching up a little bit's it's working enough. It's not exactly the aesthetic I was after. Didn't really know what I was after, actually. We'll see. Once you put the highlights in, it might really come together nicely. Try not to lean on this here. Gonna move his eyes down. Yet again. Yet again, I do the same thing with the eyes. Just keep moving them down. That's my secret now. Keep moving them down. So if I put enough detail in the face here, it'll read like I did a lot more work than I actually did. The brain likes to fill in. And that's why when people overdraw, it makes the artwork boring. The brain wants to do a little bit of the seeking. It's like treasure hunting a little bit. You know, being able to let the mind fill in the parts of the piece. So if you do a lot of detail just in one area, that's where the person's going to eventually look. So I often tell people not to put too much effort into the hands, unless the hands are part of the story. Because it can be really distracting to have a fully rendered hand and then like a ghosty face. That's a technical term I just made up. Because it's really confusing to see that. Man, I wish I had those kit pastels now though, I tell you. Could be drawing all this in with colors. That was white. Okay. I'll pick out some areas in this lower leg as well. There are some hard areas, like right beside this light. So this light shining through is made up of cast shadows. So I am drawing its edge, but not the core, not as it moves away. I know you guys who draw with me all the time, this is probably sounding redundant by now. Students need to be reminded it constantly though, I tell ya. You guys have taught, you know what I'm talking about. So we've got about 2 minutes in this session. I'm going to pick out a little bit of detail in his hand before this thing goes off. Ooh, thick hand, thick finger. That's why. That's why. Pick the wrong side. Light, light, there we go. Light. Yeah. 30 seconds. And what I said earlier is coming true now, that I wish I had more time. We still have one more session. Just. I don't even think I'm going to get these feet done at all. I just have to leave them where they are. I'm going to take a short break. And then hit the lights again. Okay. Hit the break button. 5 minutes. This time I'll set it. We're almost there. Pull back again. Show the setup. I don't know. Maybe it's helpful. Time falls when you're having fun. Oh man, that blends nice with the charcoal. This is the not counting part. 2 minutes. Damn it. Sorry, I really want to draw. Should take a break. Yeah, it's very disgusting. Two minutes. 2 minutes. That's the Jeff painting I was talking about. Go to Instagram, check it out. Beautiful splotches of color. Looks really good. And there's talk on this thread that maybe he'll teach this. So now that I see this, I mean, it looks different than what I got down here. But that splotchy color thing is, I mean, it's softer in this pan pastel, that's for sure. We're about 30 seconds out. Maybe it's not going to be so much of a critique tonight. We'll see. We'll put it on the side and we'll see how anatomically off I am. Using a new material has been exciting. 5 seconds. Wipe it off. I'll learn that one for next one, Keith. Okay. Let's, geez. Shouldn't have drawn the eyes the way I did. Bad bunny. So 25 minutes, this is it. I'm not going to keep working on this piece. This is an experiment. I'm going to spray it and see what happens as well, because I'd like to know. I'll do the lights now. Let's see if that helps round it out in the amount of time that we have. So this is the Pit Pastel, and it's not sharpened. It's not even working. Just going to erase out a little bit. There we go. I'm going to use pastel chalk by Generals. It's sticking a little bit better on top. Of course, I didn't sharpen any of these things at the break. My roommate was calling me. You have to wipe it off quite a bit. Okay. I have a feeling that this chalk, this lightness is just going to disappear. I can see it. I don't know if you guys can. It's very faint. Looks good for veins, though. It's almost like a drawing blender. Not getting any there, though. Okay, I'm going to go back with the dark and just draw this backlit side a little bit more, just to cut them out. Draw this going across. That shadow. Also, darker line. process. We'll just highlight that feature a little bit more. Take the brown I was using and blend them together. Nice. Looks nice with that charcoal. I'm going to use a little bit more color in here. Softening that side out. It's actually the light that reflects off the ceiling in here. I wish the dark was darker though. As well. But you can draw on top of it. So now I don't like it. There's your artist mind at work. See what we can do in the next little bit to fix it. Ugh. If anything. Conte sticks nice on top of this bit. See what happens with that blend. Okay, wipe that off. See if I can fix the space up a little bit more too. It's a little more pinkish there. Uh-oh. What? What's going? not going on top of that graphite. Lesson learned. Nice to start drawing in graphite sometimes though. That's a little toast. See if I can't bring his face back a little bit more though. Just by implying something with some lines. They don't all stick. So I'm just using my finger now. Why not? Need some golden color in this hair. Check the back of the box. Dialogue yellow shade. Yellow ochre. Not very clear. Found the white. Okay. There's the yellow ochre. It's very strong. Just ruining it now. Okay. Here's what it is. I did find this white though. So, being that I've been being stupid, I'm going to get out another applicator. These things don't stay clean very well. Let's see if I can't punch up these lights again. It looks really silly to me right now. Okay, pure white. Let's see how this goes. Okay, it's white. It's white. I'm sitting it on top there. Cheek should be out further. Got 11 minutes left here. I don't even know if this could be saved at this point. My favorite part is the feet, the thing that I did the least amount on. This goes. Much color again. Same mistake on that side. Just obliterate it. Dark shade. It's starting to look crazy. There's a wee bit of light on the forehead though. So I'm just darkening up core shadows a little bit, chasing some things that I feel like I can kind of repair. This content is sitting on top of it, albeit it's textured. Cast shadow on the ground. Helps the figure pop up in the picture plane. Soft edge there. Bring them both together. Intensify this packing maneuver in. And maybe even this edge. So just revisiting the darks. Where I can. It's very stylized now. eraser. Forgot about that tool. Let's erase out our lights. Paper's got such a nice tone underneath. I'm going to take advantage of that. Maybe this will be what fixes this drawing. Got real quiet here. 2 minutes left. What can I do? I kind of want to add more color, but I think I'm just going to get to the end of the session. Okay. Because I could do this all night now, but I got to edit that video for the kids. Got to go up tomorrow. It'll be a late night for me. Okay, adding that dark and then going back over it, it's really nice. That's with the Conte and charcoal. Oh, sorry, Conte and pan pastel. Really darkens those colors nicely. I probably would do well just to have a black or something very, a lot darker than this. Oh, sorry. Too bad I couldn't just take Keith's class. Someone's got to work, pay the rent here, and this room's being used, so that's someone's bunny. I'm probably gonna have to work a lot more once all this is over too. Living the dream. Let's have a little bit more pink. Okay. You know what? Let's erase it. Erase it. Okay, that erase is doing some nice things. "45 seconds. I'll call this done. I'll go up to the screen and rip it apart. But first I'll sign it. May 20. 20, holy jeez. This country just broke. All right, 15 seconds. I'm gonna give a quick lowdown. We'll look at it up on the screen. It's always fun to compare, contrast things. All right, there's our beeper. Just gonna zoom in a little tighter. Hey, quiet down. Oh, now I see what's wrong. That's how it always happens. These highlights, it's too bright. Rub my finger on it now. All right. Oh, let's not mess up the screen here. So, what do we got? What do we got here? It's not the same size, obviously. In fact, my leg looks a little long. If you remember, I went back and adjusted that. I like how the pan pastel can give you a quick notation of the color. I wish I actually had a little bit more chroma in there. Learned a lot. Some of Keith's comments and stuff, very helpful. Wiping off the brush. Not using graphite next time, maybe. They were a lot of fun. I think today was a fun day for me to experiment. Not my favorite drawing, but I can see where I can use improvements and, you know, try these pan pastels out again next week. Hopefully, Jeff's saying let's do a conference. I don't want to do it on Wednesday, though. Wednesday's my regular practice drawing night. But I would love to conference with all you guys out there who are drawing. It'd be really cool. I think we could just turn our laptops backwards, so behind our donkeys and easels, and then face our drawings, be far out and taught. It's nice. I mean, art is a social thing. That's why I opened this place. And right now, I'm not getting that social aspect at all. Big, empty. But I don't feel empty about this. Enjoyed this piece. I look forward to cleaning up this mess tonight and doing it again next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel or hit that notification bell, because otherwise I don't know what's going on. That's what you say at the end of these videos, right? Time to clean up. You guys have a great night. I'm going to edit a video and it will come out soon on the Brian Batista channel if you want to watch it. It's kind of slideshow instruction, not drawing stuff. Until then, thank you all for joining me.